I decided to write my PK on ghost marriage. Ghost marriage is exactly what it sounds like, a marriage between two ghosts, and it is normally found in the Chinese culture. Like I said previously, it is prominent mainly in the Chinese culture. The tradition apparently stretched back all the way to the first imperial dynasty of China, which is the Qin dynasty, which started in 221 to 206 BC, and is still practiced today, about 2,000 to 3,000 years later. A ghost marriage most of the time is between a deceased man and a deceased woman that were previously engaged. There are times that fathers will give away their deceased daughters, that way they have a patrilineage to follow. There are also times that they feel that they are requested from the afterworld to marry. The marriage ceremony wouldn't be any different than a traditional American wedding, as you could say. There's a reception, a ceremony, food, gifts, everything you would normally think of, except the fact that there isn't a real bride and groom. They are usually on a bamboo frame made out of paper mache of some sort. Like I said, a bride and groom are represented by bamboo, paper mache, cloth. They normally would wear what a real bride and groom would wear in a traditional wedding. It has actually been Americanized in the movie The Corpse's Bride. That is a good look of, I guess, a spin-off of a ghost marriage in the Chinese culture. Now, the role of parents is basically everything, because obviously the bride and groom can't physically do anything. So the parents will set up the entire wedding. Most of the time, they will matchmake between your dead son with a dead female, and a lot of times the dads would sell their daughters. The wedding could also take place of the funeral. There are a lot of times a funeral turn wedding when the couple was already previously engaged and happened to face a fatal accident, but they still wanted to marry the two, but it would take place of the funeral. It would be a funeral turned wedding in this situation. Technically, there's no legality of it. The government won't recognize this type of marriage as a true marriage, so there are no documents that need to be signed for this. There's no binding between the two in such a contract with the government side. According to an old Chinese legend, if someone passed away and was not given a proper wedding before, he or she would haunt the family until such arrangement was made. In the haunting, this was more for the sake of the living families than it was for the deceased male or female. Most of the time following a ceremony, the bride and groom made out of bamboo and paper mache would be burned. The deceased wife would be moved out of her gravesite to a gravesite right next to the deceased male's gravesite, and wedding gifts are distributed to the bride's family. Now, obviously, two ghosts can't really divorce each other, so since there's not a legal binding between with the government, there's no technicality of divorce between the two ghost male and ghost female. The sad thing is that there is a black market for such ghost marriage. People will take women, kill them, and sell their bodies. In 2006, there were 6 women killed for this exact purpose. The corpses can be taken out of their graves. And before you think there's not too much money to be made, sadly there is. In 2016, there was somebody that murdered 2 women with mental disabilities and sold each of them for $8,300 just for the purpose of ghost marriage, and it still happens today. There is matchmaking for this such thing. Families of a male or female can go to a priest, and the priest will match the deceased guy or girl due to horoscopes or family requests on what they would like their ideal partner to look like. It's almost like online dating. By end of my slideshow, I want to thank you for watching and paying attention, but all in all, like I said, ghost marriage is exactly what it sounds like, and it has been portrayed several times in today's society and happens to this day, mainly in the Chinese culture.